Hello and welcome back to the Rainbow Pitch League Top 4 event, sponsored this week by Legend Story Studios, Fabberry, TCG TED, PCG, Metal Fab Tokens, The Realm Games, Fresh and Buds, and Melody Likes. And today on commentary, I'm joined once again by the wonderful Mara Faris. How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. Thanks for having me back. This has been a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. It has been. Now, unfortunately, we don't have a Dromai game for you today, but we have two Arcane users. On the left, we have Amelia on Iyslander, and on the right, we have Tessa with Viserai. Have you had much experience with these heroes before?
Yeah. I mean, we've seen a lot of success in the recent meta with Iyslander lately. Iyslander proving to be a real force that has to be respected right now, and I think we'll probably see that today.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Okay, so it looks like we had a Spellblade Assault blue there. No damage being put through, but we did start off with two rune chants, and Tessa does get to arsenal a card on the first turn of the game, and of course Iyslander tends to play at instant speed when she's able to play a card from the arsenal, so we didn't have to worry about that there, but we do have this Fjendel's Fighting Spirit for 7 damage coming off the start for Amelia.
Yeah, Amelia definitely looking to start things off with just a little bit of that Bolander aggression. Um,
Mm-hmm.
It'll be interesting to see how this matchup really plays out, whether they want to really just go hard in these physical attacks, um, or maybe play this game a little bit slower.
Yeah. Well, on Tessa's side, it looks like we just have Arcane Barrier 1. Yeah, we have the... Oh, sorry, Spell Void, rather. We don't even have Arcane Barrier.
Oh yeah, you're absolutely right.
Wait,
Um,
does Coolhead have Arcane Barrier or Spell Barrier? Oh,
our
Spell
it's
Void.
Quillen is Arcane Barrier. Yeah,
Okay, so there's Arcane Barrier 1 on the
yeah.
other side. My bad. But we have the Crown, which has been used on this cash-in to draw 2 cards. And we're getting a Frostbite in response. Now, the Crown and the cash-in combination is something you're pretty familiar with, haven't you?
Yeah. Well, so the crown in particular, we did run in Dromai for a little while, but we never actually ran the cash in.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah. Although cash in for Viserai really wanting to set up this big like 6 card hand right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
We may expect to see something like a Mordred Tide come out here real soon, and really take advantage of this large hand size.
Mm-hmm. Of course, well, the cash-in does have go again, so if Tessa chooses, she can use the Spellbound Creepers to gain multiple action points there.
Hmm.
But it looks like the Spellbound Creepers wasn't used. Instead, we're going for Mavrian Skies here. With 3 rune chants already in play, created because of the cash-in coming in first, we're now getting this Grasp the Arc? No.
Yeah.
What's this one? It's the 3-cost vanilla, essentially. Um, I am so bad with Runeblade names, but we're getting it for 9 damage here.
Yeah.
The first 3 arcane damage being prevented, but we still have 6 damage coming through, and this does have the on hit of creating multiple rune chants should this hit because of the Movian Skies, but we're not going to get that opportunity. Instead, we're getting a block for 6, but there's still multiple cards in Tessa's hand.
Mhm. The card is Amplify the Arcanite, by the way.
Thank you. And here we're seeing another
A
Movian
second Modern
Skies.
Skies.
And this one looks red compared to the first one, so I'm going to
Hmm.
assume this is the red one, and we may get 3 rune chants being made off this next attack. Just showing no remorse here, and it kind of makes sense why Tessa just chose not to prevent any of the damage the previous turn.
Yeah.
Taking all 7 from that Fjendel's Fighting Spirit.
Yeah, it definitely looking to come out with it. Like I say, I think once you see that cash in your hand, you're really looking to just set up this big 6 card hand, especially with multiple Malrian Skies.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
This turn's looking to go really wide, as well as just presenting these on hits that are just There we go. We see that that on hit. We're gonna make some of those rune chants.
Yeah. And maybe this is why Tessa chose not to use the Spellbound Creepers there as well, because, she already had all these cards and go again available to her that she didn't need to use the Creepers there.
Yeah,
Um,
having the multiple Mauvrion skies there is really nice on this big turn.
mm-hmm.
Amelia already down to 20.
Yeah, Tessa was happy to take 7 there. Just, I'll take 7, you can take 17.
Yeah.
And that was through 3 cards of blocking as well. So Amelia now has the decision of whether she wants to arsenal this card. Oh, yep, there we go. Or, I was going to say, or use the Coronet Peak. And for those of you who aren't aware, Coronet Peak is a reference to a mountain in New Zealand.
I didn't actually know that.
Yeah, a mountain? I don't know. It's like a skiing or snowboarding kind of,
Oh,
not
that's
quite
neat.
resort, but like thing you can do in this country.
I had no idea. See, we're learning stuff every day.
Yeah, there you go. Just a little bit of Kiwiana in this game for everyone out in the world to slowly discover. So Amelia has arsenaled, and we've gone back to Tessa, who has 4 cards in hand. Runeblade really loves to have multiple cards in hand, so like because of the need of the attacks and the non-attacks, and potentially giving go again and attacking this Rosetta Thorn, which as of today is still currently legal and classic constructed.
Still hanging on by a thread.
And Briar making it to the finals of the most recent Battle Hardened, I believe.
Lost to a dash, I think.
Yeah. Which, I'm obviously biased towards, but also
yeah, I don't know. Does anyone still play Dash? Is that a hero?
Maybe 1 or 2. I don't know. Well, at least one person, because one person made it to the not just the finals, but won the event. And here we have the Mordred Tide. So we're going to get multiple rune chant things here, but we're getting a brain freeze in response, and this could be crucial in terms of removing either like a resource here or a playable card. There's a Mauvrion Skies.
And there's the Mauvrion Skies. Yep.
But it looks like we do have a Become the Arc Knight in hand, which can also be taken. And there's some different lines of play here that could be like considered. If you have the Brain Freeze, you could take the Mauvrion Skies to make sure that we're not getting multiple attacks and rune chant sort of triggers. But then that leaves the Become the Arc Knight open to go and search for a Read the Runes.
Yeah.
And just generate a massive amount of rune chants.
Yeah, we do see that Deathly Duet too, looking to make some of those rune chants. I think it's just going to be pitching. Yeah, pitching the Mordred Tide or the Mauvrion Skies just to make those rune chants and get at least some kind of value on this Mordred Tide turn. Probably a lot less value than Tessa was really hoping for, though.
Yeah. So that Brain Freeze was pretty crucial in terms of trying to keep the parity, not necessarily parity, but just kind of stay on top of things and not let it overflow with value as much.
Yeah, Mordred Tide can be a very scary card in a lot of matchups. In this matchup in particular, just the volume of rune chants that a really big Mordred Tide turn can really make or break these matchups. So I'm sure Amelia is very happy to be able to stem the tide on this one.
Yeah, for sure. And like at the very least, like Iyslander is known for being a very blue heavy deck. So even though there's a lot of like 2 defense kind of cards potentially in those blues, they can functionally block for 3 in these sort of matchups.
True. She is also, however, known to be a very resource-heavy deck.
Yes.
Like she is very capable of blocking out these rune chants, but it's very often not what she wants to be doing with her turn. She really wants to be setting up that disruption and then throwing back these big physical attacks in Wounded Bull and Fandal's Fighting Spirit.
And here we see an Enlightened Strike, and the mode is draw a card. Iyslander plays a lot better when she has access to an arsenal that she can play in her opponent's turn. So the card draw there is pretty crucial. I imagine she maybe didn't see blue there to play from the arsenal. Otherwise, the 2 cards in hand, another line that could be considered there is just using the Coronet Peak and arsenaling. But I suppose, the E-Strike actually wouldn't be able to play from the arsenal. So we're just essentially going to mulligan this 1 card and try to get a blue card for the arsenal. Meanwhile, attacking for 5.
Yeah, It is a little scary that, like, our arsenal is just the blind top card off of the deck. So Amelia really just hoping for a good disruptive blue there. If
Hmm.
she happens to draw one of the reds, she could leave herself open to a big undisrupted turn from the Viserai.
Yeah, and Tessa's still without an arsenal herself.
Tessa very content to just play these 4-card hands and not really look for a lot of big setup turns.
Hmm. And here we're seeing a Rattlebones, so the ability to play this at instant speed hasn't triggered. This is just going to be a fair Rattlebones as such. But this is a large amount of damage potentially coming through. That's the Amplify once again coming back
hmm
for use this turn, and there was a consideration to maybe play something else first, but here we go. This is just
no,
11 damage.
just a friendly 11. No go
Yeah.
again on this amplify, it looks like, though. So we may actually see Tessa starting to set up a larger hand for next turn.
Hmm. We might see an actual arsenal. There is still one resource floating, so we could see a creeper's activation, but
Uh,
if the last card in hand, maybe read the runes or something.
that's possible.
But more likely, I think we're just going to see an arsenal here. We're
Yeah, I think so
preventing
too.
5 of that arcane damage, getting another counter on the Alluvian,
hmm
and with 2 cards in hand, are we going to prevent any of this damage?
Yeah, Amelia definitely eyeing that Ironhide Gauntlet with
Hmm.
that spare resource floating. Um, it's always an interesting choice to when to use the equipment for stuff like that Ironhide, where like sometimes you just want to use it just because you have the spare resource hanging around, where you just want to get the
Hmm.
value where you can. Against a deck like Viserai, who does present a lot of these on hits and sometimes at pretty rough breakpoints, throwing a 7 with a Mordred or a Marvin Skies on hit
Hmm.
sometimes makes that armor block a little bit more valuable.
Yep.
So I think it'll be an interesting decision to see if she wants to cash that in now while she has the extra resource, or if she wants to try and save it for something more important later.
Yeah, the math does kind of add up nicely there, but it looks like nope, we're
Yep.
keeping that one resource, which could maybe be used for something like this. Ether Hail?
Yep. That is
Yep.
a blue Aether Hail. It'll be 2 arcane. Um,
2 Arcane. The Frostbite won't be doing much here, but
mhm.
it just does allow us to keep on playing through this turn and try to keep up on the damage race almost.
Yeah.
The Waning Moon comes in for 3 there, and the life total difference is still just 9. And Iyslander does tend to play from behind for the most part. The Stormstrider is being a key part in catching up on that game. And she'll be aware that she has like this racing potential with only one arcane barrier available to Tessa. But we see a scar
hmm
for a scar, 4 damage with go again.
Yeah. We probably won't see a whole lot with only 1 card left in Amelia's hand. I don't imagine that go again is going to see a lot of use. I think we're just going to see an arsenal. Yep, and sure enough.
Yeah.
But we do see Tessa going in with a 5-card hand now, so we'll see how wide this Viserai can go.
For sure. So it looks like the Arsenal's being played first, and once again we have another Mordred Tide.
And now we see that big 5-card Mordred Tide turn that we were talking about.
Hmm.
If Amelia doesn't have a lot of disruption in this turn could get real scary.
Yeah. Um. So I guess Amelia didn't immediately reach for that Arsenal as well,
hmm
which Tessa has to be happy about.
Oh, sure.
And here we're seeing a
There's a
Sonata
Sonata.
Arcanax.
I'm looking like that Sonata is just for 0, so we'll see just 3-card flip.
Hmm.
Uh,
One interaction we haven't seen yet, and I don't know if we're going to get a chance, maybe, is like the cost reduction ability, plus the frostbites, and how it kind of works in Tessa's favor. Here we're going to get a
sure.
Swarming Gloomveil, which is a super powerful 0 cost attack with essentially a 3-stage ability, depending on how many auras you've created, and Tessa has created 3, so it's going to be a 0 cost with go again. It's going to get +1 to be 4, and then if it hits, arcane damage will not be able to be prevented for the remainder of the turn.
Yeah, this is the perfect kind of thing you want to see off of that. So that with this Mordred Tide turn, that Sonata is going to make those rune chants, and then we're going to get more off of the swarming. Like
Hmm.
this is really exactly where Tessa wants to be right now.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Doubly so since we have not seen any of that disruption from Amelia yet.
Mm-hmm. The Channel Lake Fridge in the pitch zone is probably pretty sad for Amelia. That's the kind of card you need to kind of catch up here. There we go. There's the Rune Flash
Yeah.
for 7 damage total, 4 and 3,
Mhm.
and this one has Go Again as well, so you don't need the Go Again abilities from another card. We
Mhm.
are getting a Sink Blow, however, to prevent the 4 physical damage, and it looks like we might be moving a card to the bottom, trying to draw something potentially more useful. 2 cards in hand remaining.
Mhm.
And we're back to Tessa.
Yeah, definitely that rune chain coming in, followed by the swarming. Like this is a scary turn.
Mm-hmm. So much damage coming through.
Mhm.
So now we are presenting 6 damage, 4 and 2. We're getting more prevention, pitching to prevent 2 arcane, and there we go. Oh, how
Mhm.
perfect was that? How perfect was that? That stops all the damage, as well as the arcane damage. But there's still cards in
Mhm.
hand for Tessa. This turn hasn't ended just yet.
Yeah, this is definitely because that. I think that is everything in Amelia's hand. So we're saying
Oh,
this is shields down. You know, Amelia has nothing left to block with, unless that's a 0 cost in Arsenal. That Arsenal's probably not gonna be getting played this turn either.
no.
So Amelia just saying, "Hit me with everything you got."
And everything Tessa's got is 7 more rune chants from that Revel in Rune Blood plus Mortartide combination with the Viserai hero ability.
Yeah, this
And
is exactly what, and we're getting the 3 more now off of those gloves.
Tessa just doesn't need the Arcane Barrier at this point if we're just going to be getting in for
And then
an
I think
absolutely whopping amount of
that
damage.
might be a quick end here.
Yeah, that's 14 arcane damage, and that looks to be the game. And that brings us to the conclusion of the top 4 of the Rainbow Pitch League. On behalf of Mara and myself, thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon as we crown our first ever Rainbow Pitch League champion.
Bye.